Dr. Jeremiah sat down on the set with Sheila Walsh to discuss how important it is to keep Christ in Christmas this holiday season and for years to come.
Every year, millions of people around the globe celebrate Christmas. But what does it mean? Hello, I'm Sheila Walsh, and in just a moment, I'm going to have the privilege of talking to someone who has devoted his life to the real meaning of Christmas, and most recently, with his film production about the birth of Jesus, Why the Nativity. Drawing from both the Old and New Testaments, noted pastor and theologian Dr. David Jeremiah provides answers to our questions about the Nativity and gives us compelling reasons to celebrate the birth of Jesus. Hello, Dr. Jeremiah. It is so wonderful to be here.
Sheila, thank you for coming to do this.
This is amazing. We're on the Bethlehem Nazareth back lot of your brand new movie, docudrama, Why the Nativity. And I have to say, I very rarely run out of words. This is spectacular.
You know, Sheila, I've been in the real Bethlehem in Israel, but sitting here is almost more overwhelming than when I was there, because of all that's gone in to make this as authentic as we could.
The attention to detail is absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah, I tell you what, I couldn't be more excited and more proud of our guys and gals who worked on this. This has been an obsession with them for almost 3 years now, and been through a lot of ups and downs and starts and stops, but here we are.
Yep, we'll talk about some of that, but before we get to the actual movie, this began as a book. Tell us about that.
You know, every book is like an adventure. I know you're an author, so you know what I mean. People always ask you, why did you write that book? And if you stop for a moment and think about it, there's always a reason. And this book started like this. I was in my office one day, and a friend of mine who is the president of Tyndall House, Ron Beers, called and said that they wanted to do this book project where we would answer 25 questions about the Nativity. And we brought our team together and worked on it, and Why the Nativity was the result.
A project like this, I've never seen anything quite like this, was a daunting task for you and for your amazing staff to even begin a project like this.
I think a lot of times if we knew at the beginning what it was going to take for us to get to the end, we might have said, you know, let's don't do this. But we had a great sense of what this could mean. And we have a guy on our staff named Paul Joyner who has a background in this and knows a lot about it. And we had no doubt that if we got everything together, Paul could pull it off.
So I just want to let people know a few of the statistics, make sure I get it all right, because this is fascinating to me. So Why the Nativity is an original screenplay with an original score created from creative people on your staff and from the television and film industry, employing more than 1,000 people during this production, with more than 100 roles, 19 of them children and animals, and they know what you say about working with children and animals. But we decided we would just do that anyway, and it will be aired on networks and streaming platforms everywhere this Christmas and for Christmases to come. So much effort and creativity has gone into this, and I guess my bottom line question is, why?
There's always been something about Turning Point that's in the DNA here, that we want to do things nobody's ever done before. We started, and I don't think we realized how big this would end up being. You take a step, and then you take the next step, and everything continues to multiply till all of a sudden you look up and you walk into this place where we are tonight. You know, Sheila, there's something to be said about doing projects that when they're done, they're so amazing that only God can get the credit.
I love that.
And that's what I think has happened here. I mean, we all worked hard. We know we had a part in this. But this is not something that humanity can pull off. If God were not in this, we couldn't be doing what we're doing.
Wow. In describing the motivation behind this incredible docudrama, Why the Nativity, you talk about the Nativity as being the pivotal moment in human history.
Well, Sheila, when Jesus entered this world, everything changed. Even the calendars.
That's true.
And people forget that. You know, do you believe in Jesus? Well, you have to believe that something happened because everything changed. We who are Christians know that he came to change us, but he also changed the world. And he brought hope where there wasn't any hope. He brought peace into hostility. Yes, the coming of Jesus Christ into this world was the watershed of history.
Yeah. You are known, loved, and respected because of your teaching on biblical prophecy. But when we look at the Nativity, it didn't start there, did it? It started thousands of years ago. Why are the prophets so important?
Well, 700 years before, people like Micah and Isaiah and Jeremiah started to talk about the coming of the Messiah. The Messiah is going to come. Isaiah said that a virgin will be with child. That child is going to be called Emmanuel, and the hope of the Messiah was in the heart of the Jewish people. They misunderstood who he was, and many perhaps even still struggle with that. But he was the Messiah who would come also to be the Redeemer. The prophets talked about it. In fact, I just was reminded yesterday in something I was reading that there are 316 prophecies that were literally fulfilled in the first coming of Jesus Christ. And you can trace them in the Bible and in history.
Just when people needed hope, God would send a baby, a king, to offer a foretaste of a better future.